Welcome back, everybody, to the Mullet River Sprint Track. Today we got a special event for you. This is the Royal Rumble. The drivers have been randomly selected for the order in which they enter the Rumble. The first lap will start with 2 drivers. A driver will be added every lap after that. Once all the drivers have been entered, we're going to start a survival mode. Once you start a lap, as long as your wheels are touching the track when you come to a stop, you're still in this race. No wheels touching, or if you fly off the track, you're out. Cross the finish line, wheels touching or not, you're in. Survival mode, last place is out. This is the Royal Rumble. Here we go. The first driver selected for the Royal Rumble. This driver is going to have to beat out 19 other drivers. Hades of Karmic Racing. Hades is driving this green 1986 Monte Carlo. This car is fast, and he's going to have to take on the number 2 selected driver for the Rumble. Bongo of Bongo Motorsports. This is going to be a great matchup to start off the Rumble between Hades and Bongo. Y'all ready to get this Rumble started? Here we go. Hades takes him down to the carousel, gets a good lead in front of Bongo, goes through the hard left and then Phil Collins' corner. It looks like Bongo is already overturned. Bongo made it about halfway down the track, and he is already out. Let's take a look here. Phil Collins' corner, flips over, takes a slide on that hood, and Bongo is already out of the Rumble. The next lap is started in the order in which they finished. Of course, right now it's only Hades, so Hades is going to be taking on driver number 3, Bogue. Bogue races for 4-6 Diecast Racing. Do not underestimate this Skyline. It's a tough car. Hades got his work cut out for him. Here we go. Hades gets another good lead. That Buick's fast. Goes almost off the road. Bogue's trying to flip him over. Hades still takes the lap. They're both going to move on to the next round. Hades will still have the pole. Bogue was really trying to get it from him. Joining them, the number 4 pick is Dr. D Apex, driving for Variant Skunk Works. Dr. D finished 4th in Super Rad 80 Sprints, driving this car. Is fast. Hades is still going to be on the pole with Bogue next to him. And there's Dr. D. Hades brings him down to the carousel, into the hard left. All 3 cars, and it looks like Hades has flipped over. Your race leader is now upside down and out. Bogue is still alive. And so is Dr. D. Remember, you don't have to finish the lap. All you got to do is come to a stop with at least 1 wheel touching the track. Unfortunately for Hades, it looks like he couldn't handle the hang 10 corner and just flipped it going into the Phil Collins corner, and his day is done. Bogue will be your pole sitter. Dr. D will be next to him, along with driver number 5. Let's see who's picked. Uncle Elvis of Uncle Elvis Racing. I've seen his cars do so well on so many tracks. Anyone that's going up against this guy has to be a little bit worried. Let's get him going here. Bogue is your pole sitter. And Dr. D gets a great start from the outside, takes the whole shot. Uncle Elvis tries to get around Bogue but can't do it. Still fighting. And everyone is going to finish the lap on wheels, which means all 3 cars are going to the next round. Dr. D did get around Bogue, so he's going to have that pole position coming into the next lap. Let's see which driver is going to join these 3. Your entry number 6 for the Royal Rumble is Jeff Headroom of Z-World Racing. Is going to be on the track with these 3. He's driving that 1986 Ferrari Testarossa, number 77. We'll have 4 cars on the track for the first time today. Dr. D takes him down to the carousel, gets a good lead, gets out in front of everybody, gets some little space there. And it looks like someone flipped over, and that is Uncle Elvis. As you can see, him and Jeff are just at the exit of Champ's corner. Let's take a look at what happened here. It looks like Bogue just not going fast, and Uncle Elvis just gets in the back of him and can't get around him. Uncle Elvis just flips coming out of the hang 10 corner and slides all the way down. Dr. D, Bogue, and Jeff Headroom move on, along with this next entry, number 7. Let's see who's going to be Crazy Canuck. The Crazy Canuck of the A-Team is here and is going to be joining them in this 1980 Chevy El Camino. This thing is, believe it or not, the 2nd fastest car that was in the Super Rad 80 Sprints. Let's see how he does here. Dr. D still taking advantage of that pole position, getting out in front of everybody. All 4 cars staying on their wheels all the way down. Crazy Canucks sliding to a finish here. That means all 4 cars are going to go on for the first time. We're going to have 5 cars. Dr. D will stay in that pole. Let's take a look at who our next driver is going to be. Entry number 8 is Cupcake. Cupcake is your champion of the Super Rad 80 sprints that these cars just finished. So you know this car does well on this track. We're going to have to see what he can do in the Rumble. Dr. D takes him down to the carousel. Seems like we've been saying that a lot today. Bogue in 2nd place, and it looks like the Crazy Canuck has passed Jeff Headroom for 3rd place. If you can work your way up to the front here, it actually is to your advantage. All 5 cars move on, and they will be joined by the Royal Rumble entry number 9. Daddy G. Daddy G not only has the track record, but he did it in this car. That's got to strike a little fear into the hearts of the other 5 cars that are in front of him. He's going to be coming through pretty fast. Dr. D Apex heading him down into the carousel again. All of them go through the hard left. We lost 1 car. Everybody else finishes. I believe we lost the Crazy Canuck coming out of the Hang 10 corner. He's up on the wall. Bogue is blocking him, and guess who comes up and just knocks him off? That's Daddy G, going all the way from 6th to 3rd place. Dr. D still in front of this group. We're going to have 6 cars again. Here's your entry number 10. It's Scooter Roundwell, ladies and gentlemen. Drives for Spirit of 64. He is driving a Ford Sierra Cosworth, which do well on this track. As you can see, Dr. D doing well on his. Scooter's got his work cut out for him with 5 cars in front of him. Let's see how he does. We're going to have to check and see how many times Dr. D has let him down to the carousel. Oh, we have lost a car here. The other 5 do finish. And Scooter making his mark already by just shoving Jeff Headroom right off the edge of the track, coming out of the hard left. Jeff Headroom's day is over. We just did the count, and this is going to be Bogue's 9th lap and Dr. D Apex's 8th lap. Let's see who's going to join these 5 drivers in the next lap. Your 11th entry into the Royal Rumble is Ray Bradbury. Ray drives for G-Force Racing. The number 87 Cosworth does have a great look to it. We're going to have to see how he does here in the Rumble today. All 6 cars are up at the grid and ready to go. Once again, Dr. D takes him down to the carousel. Dr. D still out in front. It looks like Daddy G's upside down. Oh, and we have just absolute chaos all over the track. We're going to have to sort this out. It looks like Daddy G just flips over going down the hill. And then Bogue flips over behind him. Scooter Roundwell flips over coming through the Phil Collins corner. And at the exit of Champs, I believe that is Cupcake upside down on the track. And Dr. D, who's been leading this race for many laps, just flipped over and is out. The craziness of this all is if you're looking at Daddy G is upside down all the way from the hill into Champ's corner and just rolled over back onto his wheels. You can see Cupcake rolling over here and just says, you know what, if I'm going out, I'm taking someone out with me. Unfortunately, that was your race leader, Dr. D. Daddy G and Ray Bradbury, the only 2 left standing out of that last pack. Joining those 2 will be your entry number 12 for the Royal Rumble, and that is Arlo of Arlo Racing. You can never count this guy out. This car actually blew up. It came apart during the Super Rad 80 sprints, and he still was able to move on to the next round. Here we go with Daddy G taking off, getting a good lead going into the carousel, into the hard left. Arlo challenges Daddy G, but Daddy G holds on. Keep that pole position, which seems to be a great advantage in the Royal Rumble here. Joining these 3 drivers will be your entry number 13 into the Royal Rumble. It's Tane. Tane of Indiana Diecast Racing did amazingly well in the Super Rad 80 sprints in this car. He finished 2nd. Almost took the whole thing in this 944 Turbo. Let's see how he does. Daddy G takes him down to the carousel. Arlo challenges Daddy G but launches him forward instead. Tane and Ray Bradbury getting into it coming out of Champ's corner, and it looks like Ray Bradbury is out. Tane coming into this race, making his mark right away, just being ruthless. It's either get out of my way or get off the track. Unfortunately for Ray, his car, none of his tires are touching that track, so he is out. Daddy G, Arlo, and Tane will move on, and they're going to be joined by entry number 14. Your number 14 entry is Mr. Dark of Dubious Diecast Racing. He's driving this 944 Turbo that he took all the way to the finals of the Super Rad 80 Sprints. This is 4 legends in this little pack of cars here. Here we go. Daddy G gets out in front again. Arlo challenges again. Someone just went flying off, and Arlo is upside down as well. That must have been Tane that flew off the track. We're gonna have to see what happened here. Here's Tane, just can't keep it together through the hang 10, flies off the track. Arlo was up on the wall and gets flipped over in the Phil Collins corner. You can see it here, and just slides on his hood, slides down to the middle of Champ's corner. Mr. Dark and Daddy G will go on. Daddy G will be in the pole position. Mr. Dark will be next to him, and behind them will be your entry number 15. We're 3/4 of the way done here. Who will it be? Chief of Code 3 Motorsports. That Porsche 944 is a popular car in this race, and I love this one because I'm a Jägermeister kind of guy. Let's head to the track. Daddy G and Mr. Dark drag on down to the carousel. Chief is nowhere to be found. Everyone stays on the track so far, looking for Chief. There he is. He's on his wheels. That might be a great strategy. Just let everybody go in front of you and run each other off the track and stay safe in the back. Daddy G, Mr. Dark, and Chief will all move on. They're going to be joined by your entry number 16 for the Royal Rumble. Lily the dog of Lily's Boneyard, driving yet another Porsche 944 Turbo. She might be looking to get some revenge after being run off the track during the Super Rad 80s, and you can never count her out. Daddy G and Mr. Dark race on down to the carousel. Daddy G takes the whole shot. Mr. Dark challenges, and Lily comes up behind Mr. Dark, and once again, there's Chief hanging in the back, just staying safe. So far, that strategy's working. All 4 cars move on to the next round with your entry number 17 for the Royal Rumble. Numbskull. Numbskull did very well in the Super Rad 80 Sprints, finishing 3rd in this car. This car is fast and might be a force to be reckoned with here in the Rumble. All 5 cars head on down to the carousel. Daddy G leads them down to the hard left. A couple cars in the back spinning around. Everybody takes the lap and finishes on their wheels. Everybody will be moving on. We're back up to 6 cars. Last time this happened, chaos. So let's see what happens once entry number 18 joins the race. That is Bay City Daryl, who races for Bay City Diecast. Bay City Daryl finished 5th in the Super Rad 80 Sprints. This car is fast. If he can keep it on the track, he should do well. Here we go with all 6 cars. 4 of them head down. I'm not sure what happened to Lily the dog there at the beginning. And it looks like somebody has flipped over in Champs. And there comes Numbskull and Lily the dog. Oh, that's your race leader. Daddy G flipped over in Champs. And we're still missing 2 other cars here. There's Daddy G. We have to see where the other 2 cars are. Bay City Daryl also upside down and out of this race. And there is Chief. Chief also upside down. Let's take a look here. It looks like Daddy G just flips it over. Come out of hang 10. It looks like Bay City Daryl just got up on the side of the track and Phil Collins and flips it. Gets smacked by Lily the dog. And there is Chief upside down. That is another chaos lap. We're down to 3. Mr. Dark, Numbskull, and Lily the dog will be joined by entry number 19. Your number 19 driver is Lone Star. Lone Star drives for Live Young Diecast Racing in this beautiful Ferrari GTO. Lone Star is a threat in any race he gets into. Let's see how he does today. All 4 of these veteran drivers heading on down to the carousel. Very close to each other. It looks like Mr. Dark is doing some blocking. Somebody's upside down. 3 cars finish. Lone Star has so much speed coming out of the hard left, he just gets in the back of Lily the dog, who was being blocked by Numbskull at the time. Lone Star had nowhere to go and just flipped it. That pole position is very important now. We only got 1 more entry. and then we start survival mode. And in survival mode, if nobody flips or runs off the track, whoever finishes in last place is out. Your number 20 entry into the Royal Rumble, this is the last car to enter the race, is Tiffany of Grumpy Cloud Racing. You cannot get more 80s than what this car looks like. Drawing that number 20 spot gives it a great chance, but you gotta get out of that last place position. Cars head on down. Mr. Dark takes him, does the blocking maneuver. It looks like someone flipped. I believe that's Lily the dog. The other three do finish the lap. Lily the dog is out. Let's see what happened here. Lily the dog challenges, trying to get that pole position away for the next lap. Numbskull gets behind her, launches her, and she rolls into the hang 10 corner. This is the time you gotta take some risks to try to get into the front of the pack, and that just did not work out for Lily the dog. Moving on, Mr. Dark, Numbskull, and Tiffany. One of these three will be your Royal Rumble champion. Mr. Dark gets a good lead going into the carousel, heading down to hard left, and there's Numbskull doing all he can to get around him. Tiffany rolls it through the Phil Collins corner. Numbskull tried to get around Mr. Dark to get that pole position, but just couldn't do it. We are down to 2. Let's take a quick look at what happened to Tiffany. Coming into the Phil Collins corner, I'm guessing she's up on the wall. Just rolls it going backwards, going for quite a ride. And we are down to 2, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Dark is going to have that inside pole position. Numbskull has a very fast car, so we're going to have to see what happens here. Winner takes all. Mr. Dark and Numbskull, here we go. They drag on down to the carousel pretty even. Mr. Dark trying to block all the way down the hill. Still blocking. Numbskull is doing everything he can to get around him and just can't do it. Mr. Dark is your champion of the Royal Rumble. Let's take a look at that last lap. Mr. Dark takes a slight lead going into the carousel and automatically just starts blocking. Numbskull comes flying into him. Mr. Dark just blocking all the way down this track. Knows that Numbskull is probably a little faster than him, but just great driving and great blocking all the way down wins him a championship. Let's take one last look at all these beautiful cars that these guys have sent in that race both the Super Rad 80 Sprints and your Royal Rumble today. There's your 2 champions. Cupcake for the Super Rad 80 Sprints, Mr. Dark for the Royal Rumble. Daddy G once again posted your fastest lap of the day with a 4.4070, but that did not break his own record in that car of a 4.3732. Daddy G and Mr. Dark also both raced for 10 laps in the Royal Rumble. That is also a record. If you want to race in a race like this, head on down over to redlinederby.com. You'll find all your information over there for Diecast Racing. We'll see you next time at the Take Team Championship Tournament. This is Shannon BR of Down Squad Racing saying, see you next time.